Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all for hanging with me on this Tuesday. So I like to always be looking for the new bait that no one else is throwing, and a lot of odd looking baits don't get a whole lot of attention by fishermen, and they work really well. Now they are typically going to be specific situations where they work a week or two out of the year. It's not a year-round thing, but it can be the best way to catch a big fish when you can't catch one on anything else that you have in the boat. So this is a Strike King 8.0. I know Lucky Craft makes like a SKT Magnum. You can get it in a 4.0. There's a couple of these really oversized square bill, shallow running crankbaits that for me are a really big deal in the post spawn. And this bite for me is about 2 or 3 weeks out of the year. It's not something that I do a whole lot. But when it's on, this can be the best way to trigger one of those big females that's done spawning and moving out offshore. So anytime that I'm cranking with a big plug, typically it's a Strike King 6XD, a 5XD, a Series 5. I'm making really long casts. I'm throwing it on 12-pound tests, and I'm fishing around that 15 to 8-foot range. I'm grinding that bait into the bottom, and I'm fishing around flats, typically next to creek channels or the main river channel. So it's going to be like a drain or a channel swing up against a flat, and you're bringing it down the side of the ledge. With this, I'm basically doing the same thing. I'm upsizing my tackle a little bit. I'm not throwing it on 12-pound tests. I'm taking 17-pound line, but I'm still using a really heavy rod because this bait weighs like an ounce and a quarter or something. It's a really heavy bait. I get the wind to my back, 17-pound test, and I launch that bait out there. I'm just fishing it on those same types of structure, just the much shallower ones. So the ones that are in like 2 to 6 feet, you know, the tips of island heads, any type of shoal. We have bars here on the Tennessee River that I really like this bait on. But basically, it's the same type of structure. It's some type of shallow flat next to deep water, and these are the really shallow ones. But I'm basically fishing it the same way that I would fish a 6XD. I'm going to make a really long cast with the wind to my back and grind that bait into the bottom. Now, this is not a bait that I'm going to fish like your conventional 1.5, 2.5 shallow running crankbaits. I'm not throwing this around laydowns. I'm not really going down the bank where I know there's a lot of good, suitable cover for the bass and throwing this. This bait for me has never worked like that. It's more so that mid-range offshore structure and throwing it a mile out there when I want those fish that are keying in on big forage in the post spawn. So for me, this is going to be typically only in the post spawn. I've seen it where other places like Kentucky Lake or something where I know those fish in the fall are feeding on big shad, I will throw this. But again, it's one of those places where I set up on it. I know there's a juicy spot. I don't have to move the boat a whole lot, and I'm making repeated casts. Or it's like a big, long tapering point. The whole thing is shallow or a bar, and I'm going to fish the whole thing, and I'm going to fish it quickly. This is a really good bait. Long cast, grind it into the bottom. That's what I'm doing with this bait. But I've actually taken this bill, and I've turned it into just kind of a shallow, rounded bill crankbait. I don't really throw it around cover, so I don't need it to be a square bill. I like this in grass and stuff like that. So I have a lot of grass on the lake that I fish. So I think this bill comes to the grass a little bit better. But this is an 8.0. It's a really good bait this time of year. Try that. Good luck to you, and I'll see you on the water.